1931, Thomas Edison said something audacious. He said, "I'd put my money on the sun and solar energy. What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait until the oil and coal run out before we tackle that." Of course, Edison spoke at the height of the oil age when petroleum seemed limitless and coal powered the industrial world. Yet he predicted that the sun, free, ubiquitous, inexhaustible, would ultimately prove superior. He saw it in 1931. Audacious indeed. But the technology wasn't ready. The economics didn't work. Almost a century later, we're finally catching up with Edison's vision. The entire sweep of human history, energy has always been expensive and finite. Always. Wood runs out, coal depletes, oil and gas wells dry up. Every energy source humanity has ever used has come with built-in scarcity. Limits on supply, rising extraction costs, the specter of depletion. This scarcity shaped everything. Our economics revolved around energy resources. Our geopolitics centered on controlling them. We measured national power by reserves. We fought wars over oil fields. The phrase energy security meant securing access to finite supplies before someone else did. Even Edison, for all his brilliance, worked within this paradigm. His central power stations burned coal, even as he dreamed of something better. Until now. Today, we're in the early chapters of a transformation driven by something unprecedented. Renewable energy has become astonishingly cheap and effectively inexhaustible. The cost of solar energy has plummeted in the last decade. Wind is similarly affordable, and the trajectory continues generally downward. But here's what makes this revolutionary. The sun doesn't run out. The wind doesn't deplete. There's no extraction cost that rises over time because there's nothing to extract. There's no geopolitical choke point because sunshine falls everywhere. Edison's prophecy has come true. We've finally put our money on the sun. And by so doing, we've broken the ancient pattern. For the first time in human history, we're building an energy system based on abundance rather than scarcity, on flow rather than inventory, on access to technology rather than control of resources. And when you change the fundamental input, when you rewrite the basic rules, you don't get incremental change. You get cascading transformation. We're already watching it unfold. Electric cars aren't just cleaner cars. They're mobile computers with batteries. Better batteries enable grid storage. Grid storage allows higher renewable penetration. This is cascade logic, one breakthrough tumbling into the next, creating momentum that becomes self-reinforcing. Exactly what happened with steam power, with oil, with electrification itself. But transformations demand more than innovation. They require reimagining our physical infrastructure at a scale that is difficult to comprehend. Edison understood this better than anyone. He didn't just invent the light bulb, he invented the entire system. Generators, distribution networks, voltage regulators, meters, the business model for electric utilities. He understood that transformative technology requires transformative infrastructure. So fast forward to now. Smart grids capable of managing distributed energy generation from millions of sources. Rooftop solar, wind farms, utility scale solar, battery systems, EVs that draw and supply power. This isn't just new hardware, it's a fundamentally different operating system for electricity itself. In Edison's era, electricity flowed in one direction, from central, mostly fossil-fueled power stations to passive consumers. Those power stations, and thus our transmission lines, were located where it made sense to make fossil fuel power, not necessarily places with the best solar or wind resources. The grid we're building now is radically different, multi-directional, distributed, intelligent, and mission essential for modern life. Transmission lines reaching out from loads to optimal solar and wind sites. Think of Texas's efforts to connect wind in West Texas with load in the East, or India's One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative, or China's global energy. On the demand side, we need charging networks for millions of electric vehicles and seemingly endless data centers to power the age of AI. Energy storage everywhere, up and down the value chain, instrumentation and control systems that embrace the wicked complexities of today's multi-directional, distributed, mission essential electrical systems. The cascade has begun. The infrastructure imperative is clear. Edison saw this coming almost a century ago. He hoped we wouldn't wait until oil and coal ran out before we tackled solar energy. Well, we didn't wait quite that long. We're tackling it now, driven not by depletion, but by something much more powerful. Economic logic and technological readiness converging with environmental necessity. We're in the messy middle, and it might take decades to fully unfold. There will be setbacks and challenges we hadn't anticipated, but the direction is set because the economics have shifted. The logic of abundance is asserting itself. Edison would recognize this moment. He lived through an energy transformation and understood both its promise and its difficulty. He knew that great changes require vision, but also persistence, investment, and the willingness to work through messy transition. Because we're not just installing solar panels and wind turbines, transmission lines, instrumentation control systems, energy storage, and electrified end uses. We're building the foundations of a civilization powered for the first time in history by energy that doesn't run out. We're finally putting our money on the sun. Edison would be pleased. For continued conversation and exploration of these ideas, connect with me on LinkedIn or at lincoln@lincolnblevins.com. That's BLEVEANS.com. You can also check out other episodes of Edison Squints on YouTube. Please subscribe and comment while you're there. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.